Test.
Test what?
Test. Making sure they hear you, Brian.
What?
Um,
How's it going? March and April are tough.
Oh, I hear you. Especially when it's snowing.
Well, that too, but, you know, it's trade show season.
Yep.
See some action out at the campgrounds.
Yeah, getting cleaned up and got a couple campers out there, or our host is there.
I just came by there a little bit ago.
No, not really, but I'm not fond of them. Not yet. We told them it probably isn't gonna be till June before we run out of some of our stuff.
Paper towels in this one, had some that, you said that one was.
I've got a roll of it in my, cause I got some from him just to see what it looked like or what we have, so, I've got a roll of it in my office.
Check it out tomorrow.
I got a roll of that and another picture. It's in my office, it's sitting there. Okay.
Made a call earlier today, text Nate late about 4:30 yesterday when we got it on.
See the cup of animals, the manhole, and
Somebody, it's gotta be more than one.
cut the one guy. And there's gonna be guys.
It's good, because they made it.
Jim, what are you doing?
Well, this is my last meeting of the day. Holes in the, you know, I have here and there. I spend a lot of my time in the newsroom writing content.
Let's see, what up?
Try and do things.
How you doing? We'll see if he still wants the trade. Put it in the drug station. That'll be
Just got back from tennis match. Sun was shining, I didn't wear my long underwear. Tennis match all year long. I did wear my long underwear.
Everyone's here that's here. I did send an email out this morning that we have to be out here by 5. The Historic Society has it at 5.
We can start? All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Everybody's here who's gonna be here, I guess. Any delegations, Nate? Assume everybody's had time to look at the agenda. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Seconded.
They moved and seconded. All those in favor of approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Could you, cue your mic, please?
Mine's on.
Very good. If you don't talk into it, you look to the side, it won't pick up. That's pretty much its
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 19th, 2019 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the March 19th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same. Bills. Nathan?
Yep, there's two of them. We'll go ahead and review the one from last month. Angel brought the handout today. It was last month. So she read it. We were going to include that in your packet.
Sorry, JP.
This other one? So-
Yeah, that's correct. It was from last month, but we didn't meet, so we want to make sure we got these bills approved.
Okay.
Page 15, folding tables were for Sportsman's Club. We did replace several tables out there. On page 19, a pump motor is a pool vacuum replacement at the outdoor pool. Page 20, 1537 was a repair for the boiler at the rec center. Page 24, just equipment for the volleyball court out at day camp at 5300. And let's see if there's anything else that I highlighted for you. Everything else I think is self-explanatory on that one.
Hey, Nate,
Yeah,
That boiler at the rec center,
yeah.
that's the old boiler?
Yes. I believe it's the old one. Well, I shouldn't say old, it's probably 10 or 15 years old.
Should we, well, would have been one of the original?
That one wasn't.
That one was?
That's not one of the original ones, no. The original one is the one that kind of just does the back area, like the pool, the old pool and stuff. That was the one that was put in about, I think it was 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know, Bob, you were on the board when we did that.
I actually did it.
Oh, you did? Oh, there you go.
It was, it's a high efficiency Fulton pulse boiler. No, it's not the original one. And it is about 10, maybe 12 years old. What happened to it? Oh,
I think it was during a storm, like, yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and review the bills in your packet. Page 29. Oh, nope, I don't have anything there. Yeah, I didn't highlight anything in this one here. Everything was self-explanatory. Okay, and then the last item in there is the first time you're seeing our spreadsheets for this year. We finished up last month, and so we went ahead and ran the report. The only thing I wanted to highlight
Are
at
you
this.
back to the front now?
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to highlight in revenue is we had $38,000 in reimbursements, and that was for insurance claims last year. That's why we only budgeted, there was only $1,000 budget. Oops.
Sorry, JB. There was $1,000 budgeted, but we're at 38,000. So that was a positive. There was nothing else that was standing out that I needed to mention. If you have any questions? And this would have been ran through the end of April. It says May, but we ran it at the end of April. So it's the first 4 months.
Entertain a motion to approve the April, is it
Bills.
2 months worth of bills?
Yeah, it's been the last 2 months, March and April.
so moved.
Been moved and seconded to approve the March and April bills. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same. When we look at this report, Nate, says as of May 31st, obviously the date is 4/26, but that's from January 1. Is that
That's correct.
correct?
Yep. And it's not active until we complete the last year anyway, so this is really the first report that we're seeing.
All right, well, barring any other questions on that right now, we'll move to capital projects for 2020.
Okay, we've been Kevin's been doing some homework on the rec center, we're getting the figures narrowed down a little closer. We have our feasibility study, but we've done a lot of work on the a rec center, including the remodel of the locker rooms, and also all the roofing. So we were able to take that off, and we went back to MSH and had him review the report, and he itemized each room for us, so we knew exactly what we were spending where, and we can get the numbers significantly lower than where we were a couple of years ago. And so I went ahead and broke that out for you. I also gave you the report from MSH. I had to add a few furnitures, FF&E. I can't remember, there was some other things we had to add in there. But I'll just go ahead and review those. The exterior signage replacement and installations would be the sign on the road, and also the missing sign above the slide would be $25,000 for both of those. Right now, the HVAC, we think we're actually a little closer to 175 now because we had to replace a unit this week with contingency funds. So that's coming down a little bit. The remodel of the old pool and east side locker rooms, which would be the youth locker rooms as you come into the entrance, was about $263,000. Remodeling the multi-purpose room, that would be $175,000, and that includes FF&E. We didn't have any FF&E in the old pool because they were just moving equipment, from my understanding. The hallways, social spaces, including furniture, FF&E would be $60,000. If we were to remodel the office space and lobby, that would be $343,000, and repurposing the old racquetball courts would be another $50,000, for a total of just over $1 million. We don't want to recommend that we ask for the whole thing. We just don't feel the city will have the money, but Kevin and I have thought the first 4 items would be probably the items that we would want to request this year, and then we can come back next year and work on the hallways and the lobby and the racquetball courts. Is there any questions on the rec center? And Kevin can answer some of them too, if you have something for him.
You want to walk through it by area, possibly?
We can, yep. Kevin, you want to do that?
Do you have any specific questions about each area?
Area number 3.
It's the office. Oh,
Okay, yep.
Explain to me what that area number 3 is.
So we have our existing offices where they're at now. And then we have the lobby that's out there. And what we had been talking about before is creating more office space for, like Thomas doesn't have an office. Thomas doesn't have an office. He's got an open area in the back. Creating more office space back there with another smaller meeting room, and then taking out that, where that wall is between the offices and the lobby, extending.
That's a concrete wall.
Yep, extending that out into that lobby to create some more space in there.
Why would you put it there? I mean, the question I have as soon as I saw it was if we have a swim meet or we have a basketball tournament, or where are the people going to be?
For the swim meets, they go into the gyms. That is where they go. They were not in that other spot because that's part of our agreement with them.
But the swim meet that I went to, there was still a boatload of people.
Was that the very first one?
In that lobby.
Their trial one?
Was
that in October?
But I mean, to me, ultimately, we've had, as far as I was aware, adequate office space for everybody. And I couldn't see by looking at this what we needed additional office space for. Especially when, I mean, all the rec center's gonna be when you come in is one big hallway. Going.
Right now, the lobby,
Going-
right now, the lobby right now is an area that kids just walk around in, and then other members, as they're coming in, have to walk around them. And when we
Where
have
do you think
basketball,
that's gonna go?
what's that?
Where do you think that's gonna go?
Up in the multipurpose room is where that space is designated for. We have a lot of people that complain about having to walk around kids when they walk in the building after school. And when we have basketball tournaments and camps there, we constantly have to get kids off the floor because they're laying on the floor, and members are walking in and walking around those kids. It doesn't look good.
I do want to
I
add,
mean, that, to me, that area is as big as where Angel's currently at, or bigger, square foot wise.
It's close to that, yep. I know he wanted another meeting room in there and a break area.
or just real quick, I just want to reiterate, the only thing that we were doing here was just trying to get an idea of costs. We're not asking the board to design anything at this point. We would come back with a design as we got closer to that project, but we're looking at pushing that back for 2 years. So we wouldn't come with a design at this point, but it's just to give us that figure of 343. If we reconstructed that space and be the lobby area and the office space, because right now our birthday party room is our conference room. We're going to need another conference room, but we can come back at a later date and reconstruct that. If it's the decision of the board today to move forward and piece it like we're showing you here, rather than doing one full project at one time.
And all of these areas, like that one especially, is one that it's a 50-50. If you want to do it, you can. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And it doesn't mess with the rest of the
Well, as I
other
recall,
areas.
4 years ago, one of the most crucial things in the plan for updating the rec center was redoing that lobby, that front desk area.
Mm-hmm. That's part of that.
And, yeah, but now we're pushing it off 2-3 years.
It depends on what your priorities. Our two biggest priorities are repurposing the old pool, which a lot of the stuff from the multipurpose room would go into there. All of that stuff would go into there. And then the multipurpose room becomes our birthday party room. It's where we have all of our young kids go in there with an indoor playground system and our teens in there. Those are our two biggest
My only
areas.
My final question is, explain to me how many drawers in that front entry, that front desk, aren't broken.
I'm not disagreeing with you that it needs to be done. I'm just saying, we're not going to get $1 million to get all of it done in one. And so you got to prioritize how you do it. And if you do the old pool first, you have to do the multipurpose room as well. And those are the two most expensive
That's my point
ones.
here. There's some areas that need immediate attention.
Yep.
And
Oh, they
right
all
now, based on what you guys have told me, that might be 2 years out.
It's up to the board and the council what they want to get done.
Well, it could be 10 years out. I mean, there's nothing to say any of this.
Well, yeah, none of it's
request
guaranteed.
Gets approved.
None of it's guaranteed. But
We're-
as much as I don't like our front desk, trust me, I also don't like a 3,800 square foot area not being used, which is the old pool.
And from a department perspective as well, we're a little concerned about asking for too much and not getting things we need done in the other
Nate, I
projects,
understand
so,
that.
okay.
I understand that. My point here is we're looking at the first 4 items on there, of which I would totally agree are important to be addressed. But I know that there's other areas of the rec center that are equally important, and we're just turning our back on it.
No, we're not sure. If we can get it all, that'd be great.
I'm not saying we go for the whole. I'm agreeing with you. Those 4 items are important, and we need to do that. But that was, the other part of Nate's comment was The items beyond that we'll go after in a year or two. And I'm saying that there's items in those areas that maybe we need to address now. And, you know,
I'm all for addressing as much as we can. You know, it's just how much can we get?
And then let me clarify, it would be next year during budget time, we would have it in there. It'd be a year, but it's a year and a half out before construction.
This goes into budget request for the next fiscal year, basically.
Yes, if we just put in the top first four.
I think, don't you, Kevin, the biggest problem I've seen for years, especially with, it's really great that you're getting a lot of these after-school kids.
Yeah, we got a lot more kids than we have lately.
I mean, if we're gonna do some remodeling and we're gonna need engineers like we have in the room here to do it, there's a lot of wasted space too between the sidewalk and that front entryway. I mean, if we're gonna do something, let's tear out that wall. But we need more space. Yeah, priority, fill the pool in. We hit that up 9 months ago. And
my only,
somewhere find the money as
If
soon
you're,
as possible for that.
if you're looking at a major expansion, that's where the feasibility studies gave us some figures, and we can go down that road, but we're just feeling the pressure to get the work done now.
But you need space,
Yeah.
period.
and we
Yeah,
have some
yeah.
space that just isn't being used.
Totally
and-
go with you. The first thing that should be fixed is the pool. And I don't know, when I saw that first, was it last month when we saw it, was $700,000 to redo the pool?
Yeah, we got updated.
You redid it a little
Yeah,
bit here.
yep.
I went and talked to the school, the middle school, Mr. Colhane. They filled theirs in for $46,000 at the middle school. Of course, that's 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
And they put a basketball court in there. And I think he said he came up with a price of about $175,000, $150,000, $175,000. So I think
The 700 would be to do the old pool area with HVAC and the multipurpose room, both those two together.
We pulled the
but that's
HVAC.
pretty heavy price tag.
It's a lot cheaper than what originally was budgeted or what was presented to us
We're
a couple
actually-
years ago.
I mean,
We're
what are you
actually-
gonna do, what more do you wanna do in that multipurpose room?
In the multipurpose room is where we would split that up into our birthday party room would be cordoned off in one quarter, an enclosed teen area for those kids that are just hanging out in the lobby. They would go in there, which would all be supervised. We'd also have an indoor play-off system for the young kids to where when mom and dad come to work out, they can drop them off there and they can play on that for a half an hour. And then on the other side would be like a rock climbing wall. So it'd be cordoned off into like 4 sections.
And that's area 4 that you're talking about right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess my only input is that we're all in agreement, they all need to be done. We're trying to figure out, I guess,
I mean,
what the priority is.
Like I said before, as soon as you get it done, I mean, we're losing money, the city's losing money. And it's like, you gotta spend it to make it.
And this is just my opinion, and I've talked with Nate about this, but my opinion, I mean, if there's not the money to do any of this right now, to me, the worst case scenario, we need to get the pool filled in. If we were to get $100,000 to fill in the old pool, because it costs I got a bid for 45 or 46,000 to fill in the pool, to put a floor in, and that leaves another about 25,000 to fix up the walls and lighting. And then at least that's where our after-school program, those kids could go in there instead of sharing a gym with all the other middle schoolers and elementary schoolers that are in there after school.
That must have some HVAC then too, I mean, we can't.
Just
really.
heating, right now, just heating. And it's not bad, but in June and July and
Right,
August,
then
it's hot.
it could be used
Yeah.
throughout the winter in theory.
I mean, what's
Just to cool that, we got an estimate today, just to put air conditioning in that pool area would be $60,000. Added onto the unit that we already have there. And it would be another 40 to air condition the back gym, which has never been air conditioned either. And that's not on these plans.
Any other questions on the rec center?
I had a question on Area 5. Like, why are we getting rid of the only racquetball court in town?
That's optional. I mean, I go half and half on that too. We're the only one that does have one racquetball court, but I could probably count on one hand how many people play racquetball now. But it's still nice to be the only one that does have one. This is just an option that's a last case if we wanted to do it. We had talked about potentially making it into a baseball, softball area, potentially leasing it out, that kind of thing.
Could you tell Chris and the board and what's used in those other two? That we're only using one right now.
Right, we only have the one racquetball court, court one. And then court two, we turned into a fitness area. And the other court, the walls were so bad that we couldn't use that for any programming, so it's storage right now.
So what would happen to that fitness area as well once we remodel the old pool? Did you want to fit?
Well,
the fitness on
so
request?
the fitness on, where court two is right now, we have our fitness on request machine. Have you ever been in there? In court two? Yeah, so that fitness on request, that needs to be more in a private area. In the old pool, where the old pool filter room is, where all the sand and all that stuff is, that's a decent sized room. Which would be right off of the new cardio room, then that would be where we would put our fitness on request in there. And you could hold other classes in there as well.
With that said, we could keep one and still need to remodel the other two into something, or they could all be racquetball courts.
I just don't know. Like, when I looked at option A here, I thought, oh, it's too small for a batting cage. I mean, unless you're going to take them all down.
That's what it would be, is you take them both of the walls out, and it'd be one big area.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I really want to do that or not.
I would say no. I mean, we already have 2 indoor batting cages in town with the third being talked about, so why?
We'll be sure to come back to the board for design for each of these rooms moving forward, so you guys don't have to vote on that today. We'll make sure that we bring a design forward. The only thing will be is the budget amounts, and you can leave the last 3 off of if you want, or if you want to ask for them all, or the first 4 or the first 3. It's up to the board.
Kevin, that pool equipment room is off to the bottom right of what is designated Area 2 there. I'm holding it up. It's this.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Is that right?
It's just to the south of the locker rooms, yeah.
So we would reclaim that
Yep.
space.
In that back area number 1, that's your office, and then where Thomas and Adam have their plans on there are making us.
It would be like I don't know if you've been to like Watertown's new rec center. They've got some kind of social areas for adults. You would put like a couple love seats in there, maybe a TV, to where when they're done, they can either stretch out or just sit there and wait for their spouse if they're waiting for a spouse or whatever. A lot of the new places have those things in them.
I was going to ask about like area 1 where you divided like the existing adult lounge, and I guess we're getting into design again, but I understand why
It's okay.
why we divided that up.
The existing adult lounge.
Yeah, it looks like on area 1 there's a wall in the middle.
That's potential. I think that would probably be a waste. It would be a way to kind of make the existing adult locker rooms bigger, because they're not super big, but we would be making those youth locker rooms into more of adult locker rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So we really wouldn't need that part. He just threw that in there as an idea.
And MSH volunteered their time to do this for us, and we're very appreciative of them helping us out.
Do you have any other thoughts on reordering priority other than what it is today? Do we have thoughts on leaving any of this off? I guess my thought is we don't leave any of it off today, it needs to be on there. These are things that we want to get done. The prices are going to change over time. Let's keep it there. And that's kind of our barometer for when we shoulda, woulda, coulda done some of those projects, hopefully. But I also understand it's not realistic.
And I don't know,
Get it all,
I don't know how.
unless the mayor wants to chime in.
Well, and that's,
Say it's all
I don't know how that all works, but, I've been talking to Nathan about this $1 million might be, they might say, we don't have that this year.
Right.
Can we have a plan B to at least fill in the pool and use it as a usable space until we figure out what we want to do in the long term for it?
So the way it would work is if the city felt they couldn't afford it, they would pull it off, but the council could still see it. It's not in the budget, but they can see it, so if they wanted to, they could come in and put it back in, or take more off, or however they wanted to do that.
So do you have bids out? I know you had a bid from Archer.
Yep.
Filling the pool.
Yep.
Do you have to get 3 bids?
If it's under, we still, even though it's under 50,000, you still need 3 bids, quotes.
And then as far as bids on the floor and,
Yep.
And I'm just going to make a note that at 5 o'clock today, there's another group
Yeah,
coming
we
in for a
need to
meeting.
keep
So
rolling. I mean, I think we're in pretty much agreement that filling in the old pool is priority
Okay.
at the top. I'd also chime in that something to do with that front space and the first impression that it gives when you walk in that building is of high priority.
Yep. And we had a bid probably a little over 5 years ago to redo the desk, the front desk area. That was about 15,000. I'm guessing it might, I have no idea, but it might be 20 by now, after 5-6 years.
Right.
and I'm not talking to this with Bob, the longer we wait, the higher the prices are going.
Yeah.
And it's, you gotta spend it to make it. And the longer we wait, the more it's gonna get. And the priority is the pool and redo in a smart way. Redo this and maybe go on and get some, maybe you already have, some ideas from the membership. There's a lot of sharp people that come in there that have degrees and they're contractors and they're this and that thing. Hey, what would be easier to do? How do you do this? What do you think? And get some ideas, because I talk to a lot of people all the time there, and they come up with some good ideas. And I do have to comment, the paint job looks good.
Yeah, that makes it
Made
bigger.
a lot of big difference. So, anyway, enough said.
Let's just touch on the other two here quickly. Parks and Sports Complex, those are driven by master plan.
Yep, and the green boxes that, or it's green on my form, are previous requests that we've been working on for a couple of years, or made previous requests. The white boxes are all new. The equipment, I think, is self-explanatory. If you have any questions. Dan, do you have a number for the roofing? Okay, so you want to explain what's going on with the roof at the ice arena?
So
Please.
last spring, we had that big snow, and I think I remember telling you guys, we had a bunch of water coming down the walls right up where the two buildings meet. We all kind of figured it was because the snow had came off the roof, knocked a bunch of vents off. That might have been most of the problem, but then again, this year, I didn't have any damage to anything, but in that springtime, when I get those massive snows that blow up over the north, it causes a drift on the south rink roof, and there's about a 2-foot high wall where the two buildings meet. So when it comes up over the north, it settles down about 5 feet south of where the two buildings meet, causing a huge dam, basically. And so as that snow and water melts off the north, it gets dammed up, and it's coming up over the flashing, I believe, is the main problem. And so I'll have water coming down the walls inside, on the mezzanine, down through the locker rooms. And I mean, the chances of that happening, the chances of that happening anytime we get a snow like that are going to be constant. So I've had a couple companies, they've come, made an initial visit, but they haven't been able to give me a number or different options that, we have available. So, I mean, as soon as I get that, I can let you guys know, but it is something that absolutely needs to be addressed.
So we put that as number one for the sports complex. We just felt that was the highest priority. Then we've got the equipment. If you have any questions of the ice bumper cars, he also wants to, has some more equipment down there, lower priority, but still needs to be done. In the parks, we have Dry Run Creek Trail lighting. Again, it's in the master plan to light the trail along Dry Run Creek. And what we did, instead of putting it as a $100,000 ask, we put it in for $25,000, and then we would go after a grant and hopefully double that money next year. And maybe we get it done quicker. And the skate park, the local skateboarders are working with me. They're going to raise about $25,000. We're also going to council on Monday to request another. We want to apply for a grant for another $25,000. So we're working to. The council wanted us to raise funds and raise some matching funds to get that project done. So that's what we're doing. And then the tennis courts as well need to be resurfaced. Those are the remaining 5 courts that have not been resurfaced yet. Any questions? Go ahead.
Playground equipment this year?
The only thing I had in here was for the playground. I figured the skate park was kind of going down that road, but we can throw in a playground if you feel. The next one is going to be Patton Young, and that one is $125,000, and with all the with everything we're trying to accomplish at the rec center, I didn't want to go after such a big playground this year. It's just hard. You don't know what the magic number is, but we've got a lot on here. We received a little over, or about $200,000 last year in capital, so we just don't know. But in previous years, we've had as high as $600,000. But we do try to prioritize this, so if we pull something off, we try to pull from the bottom.
On the ice bumpers, you have ice bumper cars, you have a revenue of $42,000 and it says 45% use. And you were just talking about the hours coming from when we had open skate, right?
Yep, so just during open skate, if you took the usage and did 45% of that, it would be, I don't have a magic number or magic percentage, but I didn't want to shoot high, I wanted to shoot lower. We should see in our overall open skate program about a 40,000 increase. I have 40,000 on my newest report. I missed that one here.
I will say there is potential, especially Saturday nights. We have open skate hours are usually 2 to 4, but I mean 99% of the time that South Rink is not being utilized Saturday nights. So that would be, I would think, a prime time to be open for that.
Are these bumper cars, are they something that the city has to purchase, or can they rent or lease those for a trial year?
Boy, I did not ask about a lease program. If they do have a lease program, I can put that in my budget rather than in the capital request. What I do have here is just, it'd be a cost of $28,000 next year, and then it would be ongoing profits after that.
How many bumper cars?
10.
They're $2,800 a piece.
They're $5,000 a piece, but the revenue, if you take the expenses minus the revenue for the year, yeah.
That's just a question mark.
Yep.
You get a lot
I'd rather see renting them for a year to see if you make 42% or 45%. If you make 10%, now we're stuck with 10 cars at loss. That'd be a hard one to swallow.
You have a lot of attendance
checking
at the
on these.
afternoons, open or open skate? Yeah.
The biggest attendance I have during the week, I would say on a good day, there's 30 people skating, and that's not a lot. I mean,
It's just mostly
for
Saturday and
long
Sunday.
periods of time. On the weekends, we'll have really, really busy weekends from November through mid-February. We do really, really well Saturdays and Sunday evenings. It's the excitement when you first open it up. All the kids are coming, and then it just kind of tapers off to be mainly MSHA kids waiting for practice. In the last 2 years, I have seen, I would say, a bigger increase in outside people from the public coming in to use it during the week. And then I did open it up, since we're there during the day, maintaining one sheet or the other. I opened it up from 9 till noon, and I did have a specific group of people that would come and use it during those hours as well. But
The point is, invest something to drive more usage of the facility and drive more
I
revenue.
just wonder about what the hours, if we're still getting more kids there. Even if we have the ice bumper, we're gonna be able to get elementary kids to come on an afternoon, other than Saturday.
We're
Bumper
hoping,
cars open up an audience that is the entire city of Mitchell, not just the people that.
people that don't have to know how to skate.
Right, do
Yeah, but
anything.
who can come at 3:30 to 5?
No, I agree with that, but there may be more kids come at that time too.
Dan, is open skate both rinks? Both?
No. We just run the south
So
rink.
if you have open skate, and you could have these bumper cars, that's.
yeah, they do them on,
Have to.
they do them on 25%, and the ice arena that I talked to, is very profitable for them. So and they're the only profitable city-run ice rink that I've ever found. But you do it on 25% and the open skate on the other. So everybody's in the same room and just having, hopefully you're encouraging people to come out to that and they see the ice skating and vice versa. And that's what we're hoping to do, is to encourage more use of the facility. And we have the staff there, so
Because in the summertime, you pull one sheet of ice out, right?
We pull both of them. We
So these wouldn't be
we
in
pulled
the
the
summer?
north rink 2 weeks ago, and the south rink comes out the end of May.
Okay, so these wouldn't be during the summer then?
Nope.
Okay.
You need a motion or something on this?
yep, I think so.
And I guess the way I foresee this process happening, and has happened in the past, is we go with the request, something comes back, either some of what we asked for.
Whatever you approve
Or
here,
not.
the council will see.
Right.
Yes.
And then-
Regardless if the city
And then
pulls
there's
it out.
continued conversation after that is basically
Yep.
how that goes down. To me, we go with all of that. And the council needs to see that. Anybody have any other thoughts on that? We need a motion then to approve the 2020 capital requests.
So move.
Been moved and seconded to approve the forwarding of the 2020 capital requests for consideration of the council. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay. For sake of time, did anybody have any specific questions for Dan or Steve or Kevin that we haven't addressed already in their reports?
The only thing I wanted to mention in mine, which I didn't have in there yet because I didn't know what was going to go on with the school when they were letting out. Our plan is for the outdoor pool is to open May 29th, because they're still going to school now on that 24th, that Friday. And so to be able to train all the kids and get the pool, and Steve, I know Steve and Dan are backed up already a couple of weeks with the storm damage. And so our plan is to open that Wednesday, May 29th.
Anybody have any other questions for any of these three on their reports? Kevin, very quickly go through a overview of your software transition for me?
It's been good. We've had some challenges with some things. It wasn't the best time to implement it right during registration. We were hoping to get it to where we could start it in January 1st and have some time. And so we've been learning on the fly on some things. I know some of the balancing things that Chris has been working with has been a challenge, and we're almost there with it. And so, but overall, the users of it online and whatnot, they've loved it. I've had a lot of emails that said it's a lot easier. And so it's getting everybody transferred over, everybody on our auto checking memberships, they have to give us their new cards, and we're in the process of getting all that and stuff, so. Yep.
Just real quick, I just want to thank Dan and Steve and his crew for all the work they've been doing with the storms and the tree work that we've been working on, and right at the same time that we're supposed to be opening up everything. So they've been doing fantastic. They're trying to keep their head above water, and it's appreciated.
I will say the sunshade posts that I have on there that were damaged, I'll just tell you guys about that real quick. On the east complex, the north and south shade, which happen to be the two big shades, one post on each side, I believe somehow water got in over the course of the winter and split the posts outright. The sunshade company, I sent them a bunch of pictures, and their engineers have never seen anything like that on there before. They shipped 2 of them out, and I got a call today. They'll be here next Wednesday. So today we got the rest of the big shades up. Tomorrow we should have the small ones up, no problem, along with everything else we're dealing with. But I can't tell you when the other 2 shades are going to be covered. We're going to have to jackhammer some concrete out and pull those posts somehow and get them reset. But that's what's up with that.
One more item I have, the Camperoya house. I had a note there and I missed it. Angel just reminded me. The board wanted to surplus that it's probably a year or 2 ago. I can't remember. It's been a while. But the fire department would like to do a drill there, and the police and the police SWAT, and then afterwards the fire department and burn it down. If that's okay with the board, we would like to move forward with that. What's that? Yeah.
Up on the road.
Yep.
Yes.
Anybody?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Thank you.
One last comment regarding all of the areas. I happened to notice on the other day when it was raining that the Dakota Wesleyan student body was over at Driving Creek Parkland. I counted at least 6, if not 7 cars, and the kids were walking along. If we have not done so, I would recommend that Nate, you put a letter together thanking Dakota Wesleyan for the volunteer. They not only did that, but they were scheduled to be at the golf course and the cemetery, and among other places. And that is a big deal when the university gets their kids all put together and give back to City Mitchell, and I think they deserve a thank you from the city for it.
Thank you. I think we're down. Anything else, Nate, in your?
That was the only thing I had that I needed to address, unless you have any questions.
Maybe just a quick overview of tree removal and damage. I mean, you said these guys were all working on it, but.
Well, we've been busy last 2 weeks ever since the storm hit, cleaning up branches and stuff. And as of today, they pretty much got all the piles picked up on the boulevard, except for a few places where there could have been a car in front of a pile or something like that, or people still dragging stuff out after we've been by. We still got a lot of work to do out at the lake, Got a group out there at the amphitheater today, pulling branches out, putting it where we can get to it. We've been working out the campground, got that pretty much cleaned up except for stuff we gotta get with the bucket truck. But all the in-town parks are pretty good, except for anything that has to go up high. Gotta wait till the ground firms up, dries up to get equipment in some places, but it's coming along.
Good.
Have you got any widowmakers hanging in the park?
There's a few in
We
places.
do.
Have we got them coned off?
We don't have them coned off. We don't, we have, there's a lot of, if you go out on the trails, they're everywhere. We do have an alert out. It's not the best we can do right now. One other comment I'd like to make, we had a vandalism yesterday with the signage. We did get those signs cleaned off today. Public safety came out and did that, and we're appreciative of it, but I think they're all cleaned up.
No, they just got the signs, anything like the metal door stuff that they could use on. I don't know if they're doing anything on private property or anything like that, but at least traffic department was helping us clean up our park signs.
Somebody was apprehended for that too, I think. I just read, so that was excellent. All right, do you want to get into sports complex manual?
The only change that I need to point out, this is the sports policy manual. It's been in place for many years. We updated it. I think the last time we did it was in 2017. On section 6, we added the behavior policy. It'd be your last page, or next to last. Nope, it's your last page, page 8. Rather than trying to figure out in each agreement to put in what behavior policies we want to have in place, we're going to go ahead and have it right here. And the agreement already says that they need to follow the sports complex policy manual, and this will be on every sports team in town will have to agree to something in here that pertains to them.
Is safe sport applicable to all organizations?
If it's not, it's only, it says on here only locker rooms, and that's only hockey that I'm aware of, and we do have some locker rooms out at the Pepsi Soccer Complex. So if it's youth, they should have, in their locker rooms, they should have a safe sport requirement.
Any other comments or discussion on this updated policy manual for the sports complex? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve this amended policy manual for the sports complex.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the sports complex policy manual. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Okay, the
9
last,
minutes enough to do this?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. What you have in your report is a letter from Dr. John Ball. This is from the state talking about what cities should do with their ash trees before we have an ash tree problem. And they do recommend that you start removing them. As you see in the proposed plan, we have about 2,100 ash trees. So if we started taking them out at 100 per year, it'd take us 21 years to remove them all. So if we wanted to start a plan, we could start with removing ash trees, whether they're unhealthy or healthy. And we also want to waive the fees for removal of ash trees in the boulevard. So we want to encourage people to remove ash trees. Is there any questions?
So, I mean, the steps we've taken to date are we've revised our allowed tree list so that we're not putting new ones in. We have not had a confirmed board in the city of Mitchell. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, we haven't.
And
had
Sioux
nothing
Falls, but Sioux Falls has,
Yep,
so it's
last
within
spring.
65 miles.
By approving this, Nate, does that modify the, was it turned into an ordinance?
The ordinance allows you to modify it in this way. You can decide what trees to take out, and you can waive fees if you would like.
I move we approve that.
And if we do have a case, we would come back and review our plan there too. So if you could just amend that to approve the policy for prior to having a case of emerald ash borer.
What exactly are we?
That would be the first three items on that list, to phase out healthy and unhealthy ash trees. Healthy ash trees and boulders can be removed by homeowners' request, and we will waive fees for ash tree removal. We don't need to approve the next three until
Until we
that-
have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll amend it to address that. First three phase.
You have that, Angel? So, I'm not quite sure what the amendment, what are we amending there?
We're amending it to just include the first three items,
Okay,
not the last three, because we don't have an infestation.
okay. All right, so the proposed, guess we have this on the table.
Proposed ash tree removal plan prior to EAB cases.
So the motion is to approve it, what is listed here, amended, to revisit once we have a emerald ash borer confirmed case in Mitchell, correct?
Correct.
All right, so all those in favor of approving the amended ash, the amended ash tree removal plan, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. Okay,
We're right on time.
got that spit out. No, it's 5 minutes. We're adjourned.
Yep, 21 years in January.
And that room needs to be swimming pool and remodeled and use it, so we have a usable space. And also space as well. So that's on priority. And that also is on the remodel now.
Right now, the rec center.
It's frustrating, but I mean, when you go right to an air about something that is completely out of control and
We've already been working on that. Our growth, we also remodeled the locker rooms, so we've got 2 of those done. We've still got 2 more. We're gonna keep moving forward, keep it on the radar for the next couple of years.
Okay, give us an update. You know, you had some vandalism done to signs and stuff like that. How is the cleanup going on that?
Yep, public safety has been out and cleaning that up for us in our signage. We still have to get it off on some of our wooden walls or bricks that we've got to find alternative ways to clean it. Some pressure washing or some sanding. So we'll get that cleaned up as soon as possible and hopefully get back to normal. And it's unfortunate, but not everything we do. We love our parks and we want them to look nice and presentable and want people to do it. We're trying to get that done as soon as we can.
Well, the Sandy Beach side seems to be a little jinx. I mean, it was taken earlier this year and then it gets marked down now.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit if we're having ongoing vandalism issues out there. We are putting in a new restroom, so maybe Sandy Beach will be used a little more often. I think with having people around, maybe that'll help with keeping vandalism at a minimum.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Busy meeting. I wanted to be here for that discussion regarding, you know, the capital
Yeah.
outlay stuff.
It's rough because we have so much.
You have so much, but we have so little money to do it, you know. Are we looking at any type of grant funding or whatever for this, or doesn't it, you know, qualify for grant funding?
The rec center?
Yeah.
Just off the record, we're trying to get a donor.
Oh,
We're
good.
trying to get a sponsor. So if we can get a sponsor and get the money, we can move it a lot faster. We just can't say that.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but,
Yep.
but that is, you know, you're trying to pursue it, at least that option, see if there is a few bucks available, you know, private donations on that, which would be great. Hey, look, if I win the Powerball jackpot, I'll kick in some.
There you go. I heard some 24-year-old won $768 million the other day.
Shit, why not me? Hey, I'd be happy with $1 million.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with $500,000.
Exactly.
I'm not greedy. That would be $500,000,
Yeah.
you know.
I know how to retire with a couple million, right?
Oh, yeah, it would be nice, so, otherwise, busy. But, yeah, this, you know, that was quite the shock last night. You know, Bonnie and I like to take a ride around town. We throw Charlie in the back and we just keep going, and then when we went past Sandy Beach, I said, holy shit. And, you know, to tell you what I did, I immediately I took the pictures there and I texted him to Don Everson. I said, you guys aware of this? He says, oh, yes, we are. And he told me off the record, he says, we've got one person already. He says, but it's still an ongoing investigation. There's probably a couple of more out there. Interesting part, this morning I talked to Mike Koster, and he said, oh, we on the air?
I don't think anything's on.
Oh, good. And he, you know, and he identified him as Isaiah